So I'm John Ridgen. Myself and my wife and family own this farm, and I run it with the help of a couple of guys. I've been doing that for 30 years. Probably 2/3 of my time's out in the field, focusing more on just under 500 hectares, of which 450 is effective. Half of that we crop, and then the balance is a mixture of dairy support and both lamb and beef finishing. But the family's been on this property since 1868, so we were the first people to have title to the land, and 154 years now, so there's a wee bit of family heritage. The arable industry is facing a lot of challenges, and we're feeling those, and the biggest is just the speed of compliance change and regulation. So because we're in the Central Plains water scheme, the standards have to be maintained so that the irrigation company still has the right to take water from the rivers. So it's really important for us to comply and make sure our environmental stuff is up to scratch. If we fail basically on our environment plan audit, the irrigation company can shut the water off. Now, we've invested a lot of money, millions of dollars into the water. We just can't afford that to happen. So that's probably one of the biggest benefits of modern tech. A lot of the compliance is really based around recording and being able to prove what you're doing. A really good phone app for me is being able to control my irrigators via my cell phone. So I can start and stop, I can change the water application rates. It's unbelievable how much time you can take managing irrigation on a property. It can just turn into a full-time role. Just being able to see pressures and water flows from one point rather than having to drive to every specific irrigator. It saves money by not overwatering, saves the environment by not creating leeching events, and saves us time by not having to get out there and dig and physically feel the moisture, and is more accurate. I use the FAR production-wise. That's really helpful for recording chemical and fertiliser applications. It's good, it generates gross margins for you, so you're recording exactly what you're spending on a paddock or a crop. So you're getting really good up-to-the-minute information on your cost of production. I use precision farming so I can prove where fertiliser has been placed, at what rate. It records every fertiliser application and backs it up with GPS tracking from the spreader truck. The truck driver enters what he's applying, what rate he's sowing it at, and then I can then access online that information to check that the right job's been done in the right place. We have auto steer on the tractors, which not only means you're not overlapping, you use less fuel, but the biggest benefit of all is the tractor driver at the end of the day is much fresher. It's a lot easier to get someone to do a 10 or 12 hour day with auto steer than it is if they're manually steering the tractor. It really does make the job of cultivation or drilling or just tractor driving so much easier. Our farm discussion group has a WhatsApp group. Not all companies in the arable industry offer the same level of pricing for your grain or your seed. So when the contracts start coming out, the WhatsApp group is brilliant. We can run around who's paying what contracts we should be signing. We can use this information to perhaps get another $10 a tonne or 5 or 10 cents a kg. So the phone's magic. There's so much good information stored online. I mean, for instance, I can look at the FAR website. I can see what the aphid flight numbers are like. It gives me a really good idea as to whether insecticide use is appropriate. We haven't had barley yellow dwarf virus, which is in our wheat or barley, for years. Then that's a service that wouldn't work without the internet. Having to wait till the newspaper arrived with the weather at 5 to 7 on the TV news is a lot better. Lucky I've got a daughter who's very keen to take over the farm. Technology is going to help her farm and do a good job. Definitely physically much easier, and definitely a lot more decision support tools. More information helps you make the right decisions. Perhaps just don't be afraid, have a go. One of the best ways to learn is to fail at something a few times. So it's particularly true with technology. So view that as your learning opportunity, and before you know it, you'll master the technology and it'll really start to help your farming business.